the Muskegon Channel. It's Andy O'Reilly, and today I am down at the Annis Water Research Institute. I am down here with Dan is it Schoonmaker?
Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker. I threw that A in there. Imagine that's kind of a regular.
You know, everybody does. I think it's Schoolmaker. But
yeah. Dan Schoonmaker.
Which, as a fun fact, I'm actually told that it translates to janitor overseas.
Does it really?
Yeah, Schoonmaker.
Mine translates to working mule.
Yeah,
overseas.
And if anyone knows the language, I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm getting an email or something later. But that's what I was told when I went back a few years back.
So Dan is here today to talk a little bit about sustainability, and I have to start with a confession. In 2016, I believe it was, I was giving a sustainability leadership award. And I had to actually call the guy that gave me the award.
I was there when you got that.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I called the guy up after he tells me I'm going to get this award, and I said to him, what does me being a web-based reporter have to do with sustainability? I don't recycle anything.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he's like, you idiot! Don't you understand? And I said, no, I don't understand. So here you are. Explain sustainability.
Well, and I think I think you kind of queued it up good there. So. When you think of sustainability and sustainable business, and specific for us,
sure,
it's about business practices and in general approaches on things that are either more environmentally responsible,
okay,
or more socially conscious,
okay,
while also being economically viable and or practical, depending on how you measure that.
Sure.
What we often call the triple bottom line.
Okay.
And the basic idea, we say the word sustainable because sustainable is a fairly common word.
Right.
Is it something that we can keep on doing? And if you think of the word, and if you think of the word put in a context, is like something is not sustainable, is we can't keep on doing it that way because it's either going to deplete and destroy our natural resources,
right, or
it's going to make people sick, or it's going to exacerbate economic, social, and racial inequities, or I think in the context of Positive Muskegon, make a wonderful community not so wonderful. Not so wonderful.
Right. So, okay, I get that a little bit now with what we do. We struggle and strive to, like we talked before we came on camera. This was all kind of started to start getting away from the one-sided story that's quite often talked about in Muskegon.
Yeah.
And I get that, news agencies and things are out there are out for viewers, and that old bleeds it leads story type thing.
If it bleeds, it leads.
That's the old analogy, but it's just not always 100% accurate. So that's kind of what we started to do here. Was
it kicks, it clicks.
Yeah, exactly. To start telling the story in a little different way, in a little different fashion. Mm-hmm. So when he explained that, I guess a little bit, it's like, okay, I kind of get it, but I'm still I'm not an awards guy. I like to give them, not get them. It's weird for me to get one. So this is a big movement, and I know I'm just at the very edge of the shore when it comes to all the sustainable stuff. Tell me about the first steps in all this. Where as the novice, nobody that I don't know anything about this. Where's my? How do I?
Well, yeah. So I run an organization.
I can't even frame a question.
Oh no! I run an organization called the West Michigan Sale Business Forum.
Okay.
In Muskegon, we partner with several groups. Most prominently, a local organization called the Muskegon Area Sustainability Coalition, which was the group that gave you an award. And one of the things we're going to talk about today, as far as how we're going to work together to give out more awards this Earth Day, and the County of Muskegon, which has a program called Sustainable Muskegon.
Okay.
Which is the brand that we operate under most often. And I live and based in Grand Rapids, so we come to Muskegon as often as we can.
We need you.
And we're here today, and we're going to talk about how we're going to be here a few more times.
Let's talk.
It's a great place to start. And I think it's a different conversation depending on who you are and how you're coming at it.
Okay.
So if I were to say, how do I start being more sustainable at home? Well, you're gonna start with how do you manage your waste, the utilities you use, the things you buy,
Okay.
And there's some common threads are universal. So you want to recycle, you want to reduce, recycle, reuse.
Yep.
So if you really want to go crazy, you could tidy up your life like Marie Kondo or whatever her name is on Netflix now.
Oh, that's a big one on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, it drives me nuts. but yeah, you could just buy things that are better all around.
Sure.
And to a certain extent, if you're talking about home life, you can just be better citizens.
Sure.
Be more engaged. You can volunteer. You can donate. If you're talking about businesses, I think it's the same. It's just a different scale.
Okay.
So, so some universal threads: use less energy, use less water.
Yep.
Institute a recycling program. If you're able to invest in higher level waste management programs like waste diversion programs or commercial, industrial, or community level composting.
Okay.
And if you're really able to invest in means, build something like a green building.
Sure.
We're in a U.S.
Yeah.
Building Council certified building right now.
Pretty amazing building, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and they work really nice. And maybe we'll be able to, as Muskegon builds all these buildings.
I know we got a bunch of them. I know it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's like Muskegon goes, it should go green.
That's right.
So there's some universal themes, and I think what it really comes back is to incentivizing and finding ways and educating people, businesses, and institutions on how they make decisions to make decisions that are what we consider the good way of doing them. And a lot of that's just educating yourself on what the likely impacts are of decisions, but then also having that that comfort and courage to make a decision that might not be the most convenient or profitable.
Sure.
In comparison to one that's gonna be better for Muskegon,
right,
environmentally and socially.
Because historically, it seems like these things have been kind of cyclical. I mean, you can go back in history of the United States and you look back to when, how many train lines were going into New York and the kind of pollution that was causing. And then you got all the up through the 20s and 30s where everything was just, the meat was disgusting and it was all that. So we got a layer of protection there. And then we got to the 70s when everybody's worried about gas and all that stuff. We got another layer of protection there. Things seem to be rolled back some at the federal level at this point. I mean, with some of this stuff, and it's like they're pushing to roll back even more. So this is kind of a grassroots thing where people can say, I like that idea. What can I do as a person?
So I think if you're doing it right, what the government does shouldn't mean that much to you.
Okay.
It's great if the government's helpful, but the government's role is ultimately they can help in two ways. They can stop people that need to be stopped, and then they can realistically give money and other support to people who want to get helped.
Sure.
But that doesn't really that doesn't impact in too great a way how people and businesses in Muskegon can be sustainable.
Right.
So like talk about Grand Valley, talk about Nichols, people like that. Nothing the federal government's going to do is going to stop them from trying to be sustainable.
Yeah.
They might be able to spend less on the great work they do in a station like this, doing research on the Great Lakes, but they're still going to strive to do what
Sure.
they can to make the right decisions.
Right.
And I think we're at a great place in time where more and more decision makers are realizing that it's good for business to do things the right way.
Yeah.
And regardless of what's happening on the federal level, for the most part, they're going to still strive towards that.
And that's a good thing. That's where it starts. I mean, that's where anything starts. It's got to start with people and businesses in that level.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. You said you're going to have a few events throughout the year here. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up. And don't think this is your one taping. You can always come back and as they get closer and we can do it again.
Well, let's.
We're happy to have you on. I mean, we tell stories. That's what we do.
Well, we're not finished yet, so
okay.
I'll I'll remind you said that in case this goes really bad in the next couple minutes here.
It won't.
So our organization, we a lot of the work we do is through education networking.
Okay.
And people know us most for our event series, and we have one that we've been doing for going on 25 years now in the Greater Grand Rapids area. It's fairly popular, and Beck is one of the most popular sustainability education series in the Midwest, and we're working to bring that to Muskegon.
Okay.
With some support from the Community Foundation, Muskegon County. We've had a person out in Muskegon the past year, kind of helping us build connections, learn about things, and we've been trying to get our staff out as much as possible now. And we're at a point where we're working with the Muskegon Area Sustainability Coalition and Sustainable Muskegon to launch a program we call the Sustainable Muskegon Forum Series.
Cool.
So these forums, they look a bit like what we do in Grand Rapids. It's a combination of luncheons on important topics, and then occasional tours.
Cool.
So the first one we did was for the holidays. We did a wonderful tour of the wastewater treatment plant. If you've never been out to the wastewater treatment plant in Muskegon, that is a gem. And they have. It really is. It's a fun trip.
I believe you.
They have bird watching there, and
Yeah.
they've got. They're going to put in solar power, and unlike other wastewater treatment plants, it doesn't smell bad at all. Or at least it didn't on that day.
Right.
We'll be doing a tour at Republic Services later this spring when the
Cool.
weather breaks. And our next two ones we have coming up. So this we'll actually be at this building in Annis on February 20. We're going to do a program featuring Bell's Brewing and Barfly Ventures, which
Very
owns
cool.
the Hop Capper.
Yep.
And they're going to talk about how to develop sustainability, particularly recycling programs that can work for Main Street and hospitality businesses.
That's awesome.
So like the types of businesses you see in your downtown market, your small businesses,
Yeah.
retailers, your breweries, and
Everything
so
that's
on.
popping up around town.
Yeah, and how they've been able to move things forward, the
Sure.
things they learn, how they get their employees on board. Some of it's simple things like taking straws out of the mix, and straws are bad.
I know. I had
Yeah.
a paper straw not too long ago, and I couldn't sell myself on it, but there it was, so I dealt with it.
I tell you, my wife isn't a believer in the no straw movement, but
No?
but if you don't need it, don't use it.
I get it.
And as well as advanced things like setting up recycling programs, how to save money reducing utilities. In March, we're going to have Sustainability Director from Meyer come out.
Okay.
Talk about all the work they've done over the past 2 years.
That's gotta be a lot.
They've been in that. They're investing in their sustainability program very heavily.
It's cool.
Going from I can't say nothing, but going from not really having a very formal articulated program to having a fairly large and prioritized effort.
Good.
In just a 3 or 4 year period.
Wow.
So Eric Petrovsky will be coming out and talking about their work and how they've engaged their customers and their stakeholders to learn about what's important
Sure.
in their strategy,
Sure.
and how they're starting to move that out through their stores.
Amazing.
And then we'll be carrying that series out through the year. We'll be giving away some awards in April.
Ooh.
You got one last year, so I don't think it'll be up again. But
Dude, that's cool. I mean, it's so hard for me to get an award. I come from a family of truck drivers and welders. Why do I get an award for anything? I don't think I have one coming. I just don't. It's weird.
a lot of people say that when they get an award,
Yeah,
and I think ideally the people getting awards always say that because that means that they're not. That means they're doing good work.
It's the truth. I give award to everybody else. That's who gets the awards. I get enough attention, man. I get enough attention by doing what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why I would rather get somebody else and elevate them. That's kind of how I see things. You got a lot of stuff coming up throughout the year. What we're going to do is link you all up. I mean, are there tickets available for these things? Is there a cost involved? How does that work?
We basically just pass along our cost for lunch.
Yeah.
So $10. So basically what you're gonna pay for lunch anyways.
Lunch and learn. Yep.
$10 to pay online in advance.
Okay.
$15 the door,
Okay.
and yeah,
Yeah, we'll link them all up.
come have lunch.
Perfect.
I think we're getting Hearthstone, so it'll be worthwhile.
Very, very worthwhile.
And the I don't know what we're gonna have in March. Maybe
Something.
maybe we'll have tacos or
Good
something
stuff.
next time.
Hey man.
The,
Make sure if you're bringing Hopcat out and all that stuff, bring some samples. They like that out here in Muskegon.
I will pass that along.
Put in a good word for us. They like beer here. They love it.
Yeah. I'll pass it along. I'll pass it along to Bells too.
There you go.
We don't want to take anything away from the local product.
Well, no, but a little sample here and there can't hurt. It's the West Michigan Sustainable Business Forum. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to come out and learn more about them here in Muskegon. We're going to link them all up right here. Dan, pleasure to meet you today. Thanks for coming on. All the links are right here on the Muskegon channel.